Okay, let's now have the question 2. The first one talks about the propositional logic. So let me just delete these answers here. So assuming this is our propositional form, the quantity of P or Q is one group. Okay, and here we have Q if and only if not Q. So how are you going to read the whole form? We have here if then symbols. So we say if the quantity of P or Q, then the quantity of Q, if and only if not Q. Okay, so the first step is to look at how many propositions, how many letters. So we have PQ and Q is repeated. Okay, so this means that we have only two letters here. It's gonna be 2 raised to the power of 2, which is equal to 4. So we have 4 possible outcomes. And here I shaded already 4 rows. Of course, if this is not given, you need to insert 4 rows here. Okay, if there are 3 sentences or 3 letters, it's going to be 2 cubed. So the answer is 8. So 2 is always 2, the base, because we have 2 possible outcomes. It could be either true or false. Okay, and 2 here, the exponent is the number of sentences or the number of letters. All right, so let's start with the first group, that is P or Q. So true, true, false, false, and true, false is our last column. Okay, so we have true, true, false, false, true, false, and true, false. Now P or Q, true or true is true, true or false is true, false or true is true, and false or false is false. So if we have or inclusive or, if we see at least one true, straight ahead is gonna be true. Okay, so the next is not Q. It means the opposite of Q. Our Q is true, false, true, false. Okay, so the opposite of this would be F, T, F, T. Okay, and next, the whole group, which is Q if and only if not Q. So the best technique here is to highlight the columns so you'll not be confused. This is our Q and this is our not Q. Now we have 2 directions here, left and right. So this is the biconditional operator, or we call this as if and only if. So the left and the right should be equal. If not equal, the answer is false. Here we have true, if and only false. The values are not equal, so the answer is false. Here, the values are not equal, so false. Here we have TF, so false, FT, false. So the answer is a contradiction, all false. And the last, the entire form, we can now remove all the colors here and highlight the required. The first one is P or Q. That's the first group, and this is the second group. Now, this is an if-then operator or conditional operator. Only TF is false. The rest is true. So the first one, true, false. So if true, then false, the answer is false. Here we have TF again, false. Here TF, false. Here we have FF, true. Okay, so this is the final answer. It is a contingency because it is mixed. This is if you're asked to conclude what kind of propositional form we have. So contingency, it means it's neither a tautology nor a contradiction. Because contradiction means all false like this, and tautology means all true. But here the truth values are mixed, false and true. Okay, so it is contingency. Now, let's proceed to number 6. If 2 dice are rolled, what is the probability that the sum of the outcomes is greater than 7? So let me just show you here 2 dice. Now, if we have 2 dice like this, there are 36 possible outcomes. The formula is 6 raised to the power of n. N is the number of dice. So if you have 1 die, we have 6 possible outcomes. 6 raised to the power of 1. If you have 2 or more, so the singular is die. 2 or more, we say dice. This is going to be 6 raised to the power of 2. So the answer is 36. If we have 3 dice, it's going to be 216. Okay? And so on and so forth. It keeps on going up. Now, here we talk about the sum of the outcomes. Okay? So it means that we have to pair the possible outcomes. For die 1, the blue one, there are 6 possible outcomes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For the red one, the second die, also we have 6 possible outcomes. So if it is 1 on the first, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the second. If it is 2 on the first, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again on the second. So it could be 3 on the first and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the second until 6, 6. So the lowest pair is 1, 1. That is 1 plus 1 equals 2. And the highest pair is 6 plus 6, which is equal to 12. So the lowest sum is 2 and the highest sum is 12. All right, that's 6 plus 6. So here, as you can see, we have the lowest sum, which is 2. This is the sum column, and the highest is 12. So, for example, 2, there is only one pair possible, that is 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. For 3, there are 2 possible outcomes. We have 2, 1, and 1, 2. That's 1 plus 2 and 2 plus 1. And 4, we have 2 plus 2, 3 plus 1, 1 plus 3. So there are 3 possible outcomes. So the technique to get the number here on the right is minus 1. Here the sum is 2 minus 1. So the number is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. 5 minus 1 is 4. 6 minus 1 is 5. 7 minus 1 is 6. That's the highest. And then we have to come back. Let's remove this. And then after 6, it will go down. It will become 5 and then 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you have higher numbers, for example, 8 or 7 to 12, it's better to start from down and then go up. Okay, so you'll not be confused. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then go down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the sample points here, this ordered pairs could be in any order. So you can start, for example, with 4 plus 1, 1 plus 4, 2, 3, and 3, 2, 4, 5. Okay, so in any order. 7 is the highest. There are 6 possible outcomes. We have 2, 5, 5, 2 until 3, 4. Again, the list of the ordered pairs is, presented or given in any order. So it's up to you which ones you're going to start first. Okay, so look at the question. Here the question says greater than 7, and we have to complete the table below. So greater than 7 means we're going to start from 8 until 12 because the highest is 12. So it depends on the question. If I'm going to say at most 7 means less than or equal to 7. So you're going to start from 2 until 7. Okay, and here the number would be -1. So this is 1, 2. Select and drag it down. So we have 1 to 6. And you have to write the sample space here on the right. So here what we're going to do, because it is after 7, it's better to start from down. So 1, then go up like this, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 8. It's easier. Then 3, 4, and 5. So these are the numbers. Now you can write the sample points. So here we have 4, 4, that is 8. Then we have 2, 6. Okay, you can remove the space. 6, 2. And we have 3, 5, and 5, 3. So we have 5 possible outcomes. All of these, the sums are 8. And 9 is 4 and 5. We have 6 and 3. We have 3, 6 in any order. Then here we have 5 and 4. So we have 4 possible outcomes there. For 10, we have 6 and 4. 4, 6, and we have 5 and 5. In any order, you can start with 4, 6, 6, 4 until 5 and 5. Then 11, we have 5, 6, 6, and 5. And 12, we have only one possible outcome. We have 6, 6. So these are the possible outcomes to get these sums. So what you're going to do from 1 to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you find the pairs that will give the sums here. Okay, for example, 8, the pairs are 2, 6, 6, 2, 3, 5, 5, 3, and 4, 4. We don't have other pairs there. Now to get the probability equals sum of the numbers over 36, because we have 36 possible outcomes here, because we talk about 2 dice. So equals sum of the numbers. That means that's the total count of all these pairs here. If we're going to count all of these from 4, 4 to 6, 6, there are like 15 all in all. Okay. And we divide this by 36. So that is our answer, and convert to percent equals, select the decimal. This is the percentage. Sometimes this is given in number. So when you press, for example, equals and press or highlight this, it gives you this decimal number. Click the percent here and increase to 2 decimal places. So this is the answer, 41.67%. So it depends on the question. If it is greater than 7, you have to follow this. If it is at most 7, for example, you have to start from 2 until 7. All right, let's have there the matrix. You're going to find the values of our STD. So let's put our RSTD here to avoid confusions. So we have 4. Let's take the numbers. And we have 10. So we can center the contents. 18, and we have 1 because we have 1D here. Then the next is 4, 12, 16, and 4. Then the next is 12, and then 14. And we don't have T here, so this is 0, and D is 3. Here we have 4R. Then we have 10S. And we have 2T, and we don't have D, so this is 0. And our B, this is our A. Okay, you can put our B here. After the equal signs, we have 1, 1, 2, or we can put it here. Okay, here we have 1, 1, 2, for example, 148, 148, and we have 70. So be careful of the numbers 1, 1, 2, 148. 148 is repeated, and 70 is the last. So you can put our A inverse here. There are 16 cells, 16 numbers here. So it means you have to select also 16 cells here. So 4 rows and 4 columns. And equals MIN, M inverse, and select the numbers. Enter. So that's our inverse. Then we have our R, S, T, D. Okay, and select the cells opposite the variables equals MM, and double click mmult. Select the inverse, comma, select the elements of P. Okay, so that's it. Let's have the last question here. You're going to find the password using the encrypted data and the encryption matrix given below. And I put the formula there. The output is to multiply the encrypted data and the inverse of the encryption matrix. So it means the first step is to get the inverse of this. So we can write here inverse of the encryption matrix. Okay. So there are 4 cells there, 4 numbers. We select 4 cells equals MIN. Select the numbers and enter. So this is the inverse of this matrix. Then now let's multiply our encrypted data and inverse of the encryption matrix. So first, let's get the dimension here. Here, dimension is 3 by 2 because we have 3 rows and 2 columns. And here, the dimension is 2 by 2 because we have 2 rows and 2 columns. So let's put the output here. We have 3 by 2 and multiply by 2 by 2 matrix. Let's look at the inner numbers. The inner number should be equal. Otherwise, we cannot multiply. So the inner numbers are equal. We have 2 and 2. Okay. These 2 numbers are equal. Then now we take the first and the last. First is 3 and the last is 2. So our output should be 3 by 2. That's the first and the last numbers. Okay, so it means we need to select 3 rows and 2 columns. So we have to select 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and move to the right to select 2 columns all in all. Then equals mmult, and follow the formula. We have to select the encrypted data first, comma, then the inverse of the encryption matrix, this matrix, and enter. Center the contents. So our password, okay, follow the numbers here, A, B until Z. Z is 26. Okay, so the first one is 1, so that's A, followed by 3, that's C, 2 is B, 0 is underscore, I mentioned it here. So underscore, and we have 1, 1, that's AA. So the password is AC, B underscore AA. Again, 1 is A, 3 is C, 2 is B, and 1, 1, we have AA. Okay, so that's it for these questions in Q2.